Go back to book and math for your science here community. I'm actually start off with just demonstrating a technology, a software for students to do homework, math homework online. And then Tyler will say some words about it. So I'm going to do a demonstration of it. So you're a student in class and you're told by a professor, go to this site and do this homework. All right, so the student goes and they can log in. Any computer with web access, suppose that student's name is test student A. And they'll have a password. They'll log in. Oh, good. Then they'll see this. They'll see that they have, they have 1, 2, make it big, can't make it bigger, sorry. Well, 1, 2, 3 assignments there. Oh, we can make it bigger, right? And they can go on and try an assignment. Well, this one, notice this is open, it's due in a week. This one's closed, they can't enter anymore. They can go on and try an assignment. So, suppose we go to the first assignment, click on that. The 2 problems in that assignment, and go to say the first problem. Oh, the answer's there. All right, so, can you read that? I'm not sure you can, but I can read it to you. It says the cost of a single fare on the MTA subway or bus is $2.50. How much will 19 rides cost? Now, we all know, okay, you want to hear multiply, right? Multiply 19 times 2.5, quickly do it, and we see the answer. Suppose you type it in wrong. 55. Dollars? Let's see. Is that right? Let me see. That's wrong. Red tells me you got the wrong answer. Okay. Do the calculation again, and I see it's actually going to cost me $47.50. Submit there. Green is for correct. Good. You can go on and try the next question. I only want to put out one thing about this. I will discuss this more, but on this question, each student gets an individualized question. So for this student, they get 19 rides as their question. Someone else will get, we'll say, 16 rides, so you can't cheat. It randomly changes the numbers, so each student gets a personalized question. Actually, you can make it even more personalized than that. There's one thing you can do. You can change the numbers so they each have it's the same way of doing it, multiplication, but they get a slightly different question. And then you go on and try the next question. The next question is now you have the cost $250 and you have $45 on the rides you can take, and you can figure that out by division. And you can be done with that one and go on to the next assignment, say percentage questions. You can look at some questions here. Let's mention one. Population of New York City is 8,200,000. Suppose 9% of the population are wearing Yankee hats. How many people are wearing Yankee hats? Again, this is multiplication. 9% times this, and you get the answer, and you can type it in there. Again, each student will get a personalized question where the percent will change for each question. Let me quickly go to, now that's the student's point of view, that's what they see. Oh, you know, suppose the student can't figure it out. What do I do here? I can't figure out how to solve this question. They can click email instructor. A typical email I get is something like this. Don't understand. Send. Okay. All right. So that's the student's point of view. Now, professor's point of view. So what do we see? This is me. So I see this. Basically, there's a lot of stuff there. The additional thing I have is instructor tools. I'll say real quickly, what can I do? I can see my class, I can put people in my class, I can add in my class. Homework editor, I can edit the homework, I can create problems, modify problems, I can set due dates, all that kind of stuff. Library browser is actually, this is an open source, free source software. There's actually 20,000 or so problems out there that you can look at and put in your course if you want, created by people for free access to them. And we can see these next things, stats, the student progress, and the scoring, and see how students are doing in real time. So for example, I can click over to, let's see, student progress. Let's see how student A, I'm just trying a problem, click on student A and see how student A is doing. Let's see. I can see, student A has got 2 out of 2 on this homework set and 0 out of 5 in that homework set. He's simply doing in real time. If you click on this, we're just looking at, problem 1. They went to typed in 47.5. You can see what they're doing. They typed in the wrong thing and see the incorrect response they typed in. That's sort of an overview of how the system works. And I'm going to pass it over to Natalia to discuss it.
So we had a project in which 5 professors participated. And we had an FL5 class, the elementary algebra class set up in such a way that they did have the online homeworks. So each student has an assignment. They can log in from any computer, any PDA, any smartphone device that has a Wi-Fi connection or any internet connection. And they can do their homeworks there. Now, for the homeworks, it is allowed to redo the questions as we did show. And the students have, they have as many attempts as they wish to. So by the time they are satisfied with their scores, maybe 80% for them is good, they can leave the homework be. Each homework assignment had a due date. It is possible to extend it, but it is not recommended. So the other item we had is the 4 in-class tests. The tests were mimicking the final exam, which is the centralized CUNY exam. And it has 25 questions, it's for 100 minutes, and it is a multiple choice questions. So these tests were resembling the final exam. They were also possible to be taken on a computer, but we were printing them out, distributing them in class, then grading, and then allowing the students to retest them. So students were able to take a makeup of the test in a proctored environment. So we had a computer lab assigned with the proctors with the due dates. For example, in my class, I said that the due date for the retest 1 is the date of the next test, test number 2. So by the time they could walk into the lab, they could take the retest. It was a proctored environment, so it was kind of 100% G3, it did show good results. So we had students who were retesting and who were getting better grades because of that. It was also raising their interest in asking for help because when they were working in a computer lab, they had a chance to ask questions of the proctors later on after they had done with the test. So they were kind of familiarizing themselves with the tutors so they could visit the lab at some other time, not taking the retest but asking them for help. So, and then the last important thing there was the practice final exam. The practice final exam was accessible online from anywhere. The students could take it as many times as they wish. It was also 25 questions, 100 minutes, and multiple choice. And it was a very nice practice for the final exam because, once again, the problems that were in the practice final were very similar to the ones that were on the final exam. So we had a student who was taking the sample final like 25 or 26 times. It wasn't a student from my class, it was from the other instructor. But it did show good results, and other faculty got interested in it too. So we were just supplying the accounts for the students so they could log in and play on their own with it. So everything was done in the webwork. Thank you. So there are advantages in this. First of all, it eliminates waiting because waiting takes a huge amount of time. And in order to give a good feedback to students, we need to write comments. I have to circle, this is where you went wrong, so you need to correct it. Now, it also gives fast assessment for the instructor. So I have, the feedback right away. I did the homework assignment, I did the due date. By the due date, I have the results. So then I can walk back into the class and I can go over those problems who were of the most difficulty for the students. So it also gives immediate feedback to the student because the student knows the score right away, and it gives them ability to redo the problem. So sometimes it even triggered them to go with the book, do an example from it, go over the example, then go back and resolve the problem. There are disadvantages, of course, you know. First of all, there are many bugs in National Library programs, and there are not mistakes, they are bugs. Some changes happen, something is not supported, something is going wrong. And also, any written problem needs a lot of testing. So we were writing our set of questions, and we were finding errors, bugs, you know, a lot of things. So they do need a really thorough testing, and it does take time. Now, many students are still not tech savvy, although we are getting more and more of them. They are more used to computers. They understand that in order to input a fraction, like for example 5/7, they will have to write 5/7. These are some of the kind of disadvantages of the system so far. Also, students get frustrated really easily when the answer is not accepted. So maybe they inputted it wrong. But since they do have this ability, email instructor, they are using it very often. And then we see what the problem is. So these are the results from the final exam. So these are my results. These are Carrie's results. My class was a weak Maple 5 class. But still, if you can take a look at the results, we have some students who withdraw and who didn't take the final exam. Now, of the rest ones, we have fails for 24%, and then the rest of them did pass it. So it's still not that much. For the grades D through B, we had 4% of each, then A's got 40% of people, but it's still much better than what we used to have. And then the Carrie's class was the best one. So, you know, as you can see, only 6% of the students failed the exam. So, and then the next slide shows the final grades. Because for Maple 5, the smallest grade that they can take is C. They can get is C. So less than 74 points, then it means that it's failing. So in my class, 50% of students failed. Some withdrew, some got incomplete because they didn't come to the final. And then the rest of the grades, I didn't have C's, I had B's and A's. You know, still something, but maybe not great. This one was really outstanding result. So it does depend, of course, on the students, but it kind of gives them extra practice, extra tools for working on the problems. And I wanted to continue.
Right. The last, okay.
Collaboration.
The last minute, I guess actually in the morning talk, I mentioned the tools for collaboration. And I guess webwork would be, I think, an ideal tool for collaboration, well, across departments, across CUNY. So anyone here in math or STEM, especially. A long-term goal of mine would be to have actually a collaboration on webwork across campus. It's free, open source, unlike other programs. It's totally free to students, faculty. Once you get on your computer, you can write problems as you please, tailored to your class. Like I wrote those problems about like Yankees and MTA subway. It's pretty easy to write. So I think it's an invitation. Anybody is interested in collaborating and all this kind of stuff. Talk to either one of us about it, or even someone in your school might be interested in collaborating. We might actually harass them at some point. But you can let us know also if anybody you want to collaborate or anyone you think of might be interested in collaborating on this kind of thing. So,